Oh man, that's sad, bro. Epic History TV, Kolchak, enemy number 1. If you haven't checked out my other Kolchak reaction, make sure you check it out. Let's get right into the reaction.
November 1918. In Western Europe, the 4-year slaughter of World War I is drawing to an end.
I'm just gonna skip because I've seen the intro. Yeah, the intro was cold, hard. I said that all in my other reaction, so I'm just gonna skip that.
In November 1918, a coup d'etat among white forces in Omsk brought Aleksandr Kolchak to power as supreme ruler of Russia. The 44-year-old admiral now wielded authority equal to that of a Tsar, with an absolute veto over all new laws. Despite his sudden elevation, Kolchak did not surround himself with luxury, nor move into a palace.
You're in the middle of a civil war. I don't think you have time for that, okay?
He continued to rent a townhouse in Omsk and kept a careful eye on his expenses.
Okay, so he was pretty humble. Okay? I gotta give him that. Alright?
He was joined in Omsk by his devoted mistress, Anna Timirova, who also worked as his translator. His wife and son, who he'd not seen in more than a year, were still in Crimea. They would soon travel to Paris, where many White Russians were now living as refugees.
Kolchak had a mistress? What does he mean by mistress? Kolchak had hoes? Is that what he meant? Somebody explain what he means by mistress, because I know mistress can have like so many different meanings, but if he's saying that Kolchak had hoes, oh nah, that's crazy.
Supreme ruler, Kolchak faced challenges on a scale difficult to comprehend. And it was soon clear that he was neither a natural nor a sophisticated politician. His manner was stiff and severe, his sentences short and to the point. If he failed to get his way, he became frustrated and angry. He clung rigidly to his own conception of honor, both for himself and for the motherland. He was, however, extremely hard-working, well-mannered, and could be personally kind and generous.
Bro, Kolchak sounds a lot like me. Nah, bro, I understand that mentality so much. Like most people around you, bro, it's like most people have a dumb way of thinking. Like, honestly, like on some real shit. I should probably not swear, but yeah, I'm just keeping it real, bro. Like whenever I swear is when I'm trying to get a point across. But yeah, people around you are just so dumb that even when you want the best for them, you know, and you know that this is the best for them, most of the time they won't even like they're so up in their feelings, they won't understand, and it's just like, okay, whatever, well, I'm gonna keep my mentality because I know what's right, and that's a whole different thing.
Kolchak's first priority was to have his position as supreme ruler recognized by the Russian people, the army, and other White Russian governments. Equally importantly, he needed recognition from the Allies, primarily Britain, France, and the USA. The previous week, the 11th of November armistice effectively brought World War I to an end. And though fighting continued in many parts of Europe, the Allies would now be able to send far greater resources to support the Whites. However, the Allies no longer needed Russia to rejoin World War I. Now they were more interested in regime change, replacing the Bolsheviks with someone less hostile and more reliable. Initially, therefore, the Allies were alarmed by the unexpected coup that brought Kolchak to power. He immediately set out to reassure them. In his first proclamation, "I will not go down the road of reaction or the ruinous path of partisanship. My main objective is to build a combat-ready army to defeat Bolshevism and establish law and order, so that the people can freely choose the form of government they wish.
You know, it's kind of crazy when you like think about it, right? Because Bolshevism, right? Communism has some pros, don't get me wrong, but that's a very interesting topic. Like, I remember the other day I was watching this guy who was a communist like Midwestern Marx, and interesting perspective, honestly. You know, like, although granted, most people in Russia did not support Bolshevism for the fact that they wanted communism. They only supported the Bolsheviks because they promised that the war would be over. But still, communism, I don't know. What do you guys think about communism? You think that it was a good system for Russia? Because Russia back then was, I mean, it still is basically an oligarchy when you think about it. It's just that the monarchs had everything, and now today a bunch of rich people own everything.
Whether Kolchak really wanted democracy in Russia would never be put to the test. In white-controlled areas of Russia, the response to the new supreme ruler seemed broadly positive. Conservatives welcomed the prospect of a strong leader after so much chaos. But the reaction was not long in coming. The left-wing groups that the coup had forced from power, the socialist revolutionaries and Mensheviks, had not given up. They convened their own constituent assembly at Yekaterinburg, where Nicholas II and his family had been murdered by Bolsheviks just 4 months before.
Yo, it's mad to me how close the whites were to liberating freaking Nicholas and his family, dude. Imagine if Nicholas had gotten liberated, fam. Oh my gosh, Russia would have been most likely different. Like, Russia should have stayed a monarchy. Honestly, bro. Like, I just don't see, like, oh my gosh, fam. It should have stayed a monarchy. It should have. Like, Bolshevism did nothing for Russia. It killed so many people. Russia lost so much people because of that, man.
This assembly refused to recognize Kolchak's new government and called for resistance. In response, the supreme ruler ordered local Czech troops to arrest all its members. Several were later murdered during a revolt in Omsk, in which several hundred socialist revolutionaries were killed. Kolchak had shown himself unafraid to use his new dictatorial powers, and such firm action helped to shore up his position. On the other hand, the socialist revolutionaries, his allies in the fight against the Reds until a few weeks before, were now among his most bitter enemies. They accused Kolchak of wanting to make himself Tsar, which they declared made him an even greater threat than the Bolsheviks.
What? Bro, when the Bolsheviks took power, or maybe this isn't like a bit to that point yet, but still, when the Bolsheviks took power, literally everyone was begging for the Tsar to come back. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, so many people wanted the Tsar to come back because they realized, oh my goodness, this Bolshevik thing is terrible.
Elsewhere, white forces accepted Kolchak's authority. General Yudenich in the northwest, Marushevsky in the north, and General Denikin commanding the volunteer army in the south. Areas directly under Kolchak's control were effectively run by military government. Local councils could not be relied on due to their support for socialist revolutionary and Bolshevik policies, such as land reform. Instead, the whites banned trade unions and returned nationalized industries to private ownership. Wherever they encountered opposition, White Russian forces were ruthless. When an uprising broke out in Yenisei, Kolchak ordered that any village offering armed resistance was to be destroyed. burned.
Wow. I always wondered like how the Russian Civil War was kind of a steamroll for the Bolsheviks, but as he's going into details here, yeah, this is not surprising now that he's gone into details.
To the ground. The men shot. Everything of value seized. Hostages were to be taken, and if locals cooperated with Bolshevik partisans, they were to be shot. In the process of crushing the Yenisei revolt, white forces executed an estimated 10,000 Russians. All
Madness. Holy crap. Damn. 10,000? Holy crap, fam. I wish I had 10,000 views.
in direct consequence of Kolchak's orders. The Bolsheviks were just as merciless in territory they controlled. Some historians differentiate between Red and White Terror during the Civil War. The Red Terror was directed from the top, an official policy of mass murder on class grounds. The White Terror was reactive, improvised, and usually carried out by local commanders. It made little difference to ordinary Russians, who suffered untold miseries in this war and died.
Holy crap, man. 5 million. Dude, this goes to show you that no matter what you were, if you were an ordinary person, bro, it didn't matter what side you were on, because it was both garbage. It was both rubbish. Oh my goodness, 5 million civilian deaths, bro. Jeez, bro. Oh my gosh. I mean, granted, the Bolsheviks made the civilian lives kind of a lot worse. I mean, they improved Russia. They industrialized Russia, sure, but like I said in my previous reaction, Russia, in my personal opinion, so many people said, oh, Russia would have stayed this backwater society, and everyone else in Europe would have surpassed it. Dude, I'm pretty sure Russia would have industrialized either ways. The Bolsheviks just did it. Like, seriously, fam, honestly. Like, in the previous reaction, Epic History also mentions that Russia was sent Kolchak on an expedition because they wanted to industrialize. So it wasn't like the Russians didn't know that they needed to industrialize. I believe that Russia, under the monarchy, would have industrialized anyways. You can quote me on that.
In unimaginable numbers.
You know what's in your cheap protein powder? Well, here to tell us is all-natural fitness athlete Paul Sklar.
All right. In economic terms, Kolchak had one advantage over the Bolsheviks. He controlled 2/3 of Imperial Russia's gold reserves, captured from the Bolsheviks, now stored at Omsk, 490 tons in all. By late 1918, there were several Allied expeditionary forces in Russia to assist the Whites. More important than troops were the arms, ammunition and supplies they were sending, particularly Britain. But the support came with strings. Kolchak was informed by telegram that the Allies expected French General Maurice Janin, based in Vladivostok, to take overall command of all Allied and Russian soldiers.
What? Why? Bro, that's such a slap in the face, fam.
Kolchak rejected the idea outright, declaring he'd rather have no foreign aid than submit to such a proposal.
Hell yeah. Bro. Yo, fam. Yo, the British? Oh my gosh. The British in World War I, bro. They were so snobby. Honestly, I think it's because of the British in World War I that killed their empire. Their snobbiness killed the empire. But that's a whole different thing. Yo, oh my gosh, dude.
Eventually, a compromise was reached. General Janin would command only the Czechoslovak Legion and some other small Allied contingents. Most of these would be held back to guard supply lines and railways. While some historians believe Jeannin's wounded pride would later have bitter consequences for Admiral Kolchak.
Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen. Oh, because I've never heard of this guy. I never heard of Kolchak either. But okay. Okay. I'm very, very curious to see what happens.
The war against the Bolsheviks was always Kolchak's overriding focus. His dream, the recapture of Moscow and Petrograd. From the provisional government, he inherited advanced plans for a major offensive aimed at Vologda. The goal was to break through to White forces near Arkhangelsk and gain access to Allied aid arriving via the northern ports. The offensive began on the 27th of November. The Whites' Yekaterinburg army faced the Third Red Army, which had been ordered to hold a 250-mile front, while suffering from serious shortages of fuel, food, and warm clothing.
Oh, but the Reds are pushing them right down here. You see that, right? So they're pushing up here, above this rail line, but the Reds are pushing them down here.
The attack broke through. The Reds were soon retreating with heavy losses. And on the 24th of December, the Whites took the city of Perm. It was a major victory for Kolchak's forces. They had taken 30,000 prisoners, 120 artillery guns, 1,000 machine guns, and 9 armored trains.
Okay, this is getting a little bit spicy. Oh, okay.
Eager to avenge this humiliating defeat, the Red Army launched a counter-offensive in January. But after small gains and huge losses on both sides, the attack bogged down. The capture of Perm filled Kolchak and his generals with hope, and they organized a new large-scale offensive for the spring of 1919.
Bro, it's filling me with hope, even though we all know that freaking how the Russian Civil War turned out. I mean, still though, I want to see how this goes. Like, freaking hell.
Their ambitious plan was to attack towards Vyatka and Saratov, break through the overextended Red Army center, and envelop Moscow from north, east, and south. The offensive began in March, and soon White forces were advancing rapidly towards the Volga River. By the end of April, they'd advanced around 200 miles, capturing territory rich in industrial and agricultural resources.
Okay, Kolchak. Okay. How did this break apart? How in the world did the Reds win?
And threatened the cities of Kazan, Simbirsk, and Samara. French Prime Minister Clemenceau and British Secretary of State for War Winston Churchill were among those who sent congratulations to Kolchak. For the Whites, Moscow itself finally seemed within reach. And with military success and renewed international backing, Kolchak's government had never looked stronger. The days of the Bolsheviks, it seemed, were numbered.
Bro, look at the people. Look at those people right there. You see those two people? Look at this guy. It's crazy that they're all dead, but look at this guy. Look at the way he's looking at the camera. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know if you could see that because the reaction video that I'm reacting to is like smaller, but like, the way how the guy is like looking at the camera, bro. Oh, that's funny.
If you spend a lot of your time on academic research, you should try out Liner to make the time more
Lenin and the Bolsheviks were deeply alarmed by Kolchak's success. But extraordinary measures had been taken, which would soon enable them to fight back. People's Commissar for Military Affairs, Leon Trotsky, had overseen the doubling in size of the Red Army within a year.
Yo, Trotsky? Without Trotsky, bro, the Soviet Union probably would have not been a thing, bro. They did my boy Trotsky dirty, bro. Yo, Trotsky, bro. Oh my gosh. This man was a legend for the Soviet Union. Whatever you think of him, this man was a legend for the Soviet Union, hands down. That's my personal opinion. This man did so much for the Bolsheviks, and what he got in the end was just so, tragic.
Now 1.5 million strong, it was backed up by the full resources of the state, mobilized under a new policy of war communism. In April, Lenin declared Kolchak enemy number one of the Soviet Republic. All on Kolchak became the Bolsheviks' new slogan.
You know, it's weird because I'm like low-key learning Russian, and I can like see, like, when I see these Cyrillic letters, well, the Russian letters, I know it's Cyrillic, but in this case it's the Russian alphabet. Like, I know what it says, but I don't know what the words are. So I can read the words, but I don't know what the words mean. It's very weird.
The Red Army's Eastern Front received two new brilliant commanders, General Mikhail Tukhachevsky
I've heard of this guy.
and Commissar Mikhail Frunze.
I've heard of this guy. Apparently this guy was nicknamed the Red Napoleon. Yeah, I've heard of this guy.
In April 1919, they launched a counter-offensive with 80,000 troops. White Russian forces were soon in rapid retreat. On the 9th of June, Ufa fell, a crucial stronghold of the Whites. At the height of this crisis, Kolchak received a potential lifeline, an offer of military support that might turn the tables on the Reds. Finland, ruled by Russia for 2 centuries, had declared its independence following the Bolshevik Revolution. Finland's regent, Carl Gustaf Mannerheim, now offered to attack Petrograd with a
Oh, Mannerheim, Ultra Giga Chad Mannerheim. I love this guy.
100,000 troops. In exchange, he wanted Kolchak to recognize Finnish independence. Kolchak flatly declined. Even in this desperate hour,
What? Oh, hell nah. Hell no! Kolchak! Why? Why? Oh my gosh. You wanna know what you do in this situation? Because life is not fair. Recognize Finnish independence and then betray them. I mean, come on. I mean, you're Russian anyways. Don't Russians do that? I don't know. It's just a joke. Don't take that seriously, but Russian people like to joke a lot, so I don't think they would get pressed if they heard me say that joke. But still, why would they do that, dude? Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Now the more I'm watching this, the more I'm starting to realize why Kolchak and the Whites lost.
he would not accept any dismemberment of Russia's historic empire. By August, the Red Army had crossed the Tobol River. But Kolchak had a plan. He was sacrificing territory for time to rest his troops and regroup.
You know, he said that Kolchak didn't want to lose the Russian Empire. But the Russian Empire was long gone. Ukraine, the Baltics, Belarusia, gone. Poland, gone. They were all literally gone. So I don't understand what he's on about?
As Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Kolchak would regularly visit frontline units to see conditions and speak with the men.
Oh my goodness. Is this how he dies? Oh my gosh, is this how he dies? I don't know, let's see.
He would bring extra rations of coffee, sugar and tobacco to lift morale. He spoke always of duty and the motherland. But small gifts and rhetoric could not compensate for his forces' increasingly dire situation. They were desperately short of supplies, including transport, fuel, clothing and weapons. A crisis partly caused by massive corruption and theft behind the lines. While the return...
Yeah, I heard that the whites were very, very unorganized, and the whites honestly just didn't care about each other that much like the Bolsheviks did. The Bolsheviks had a unifying factor. The whites did not. Yeah, the whites were very fractured, fragile. Is that the word? Dismembered? I don't even know.
Of Tsarist-era discipline, which included flogging and beating soldiers, created further discontent.
I would never understand beating. I would never understand beating. You know, like how parents can beat their kids? I would never subscribe to that unless it's very necessary, because like when you're hurting someone, right, and you're quote unquote disciplining them, you're not disciplining them, fam. You're just making them afraid of getting hurt again. Like they're still gonna have those same exact thoughts of, for example, right? Let's say a kid does something bad, kid gets beat, right? You think the kid is gonna be disciplined? No. The kid is just gonna think, oh, I don't want to get beat, but I probably will still do the same exact thing that caused me to get beat if I know that I'm not gonna get beat. It's same situation here, man. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Desertions were rife, particularly among new conscripts from the peasantry, who had little reason to love the whites. In private, Kolchak was increasingly under strain and unable to control his temper. He looked visibly exhausted, and at 44, his hair had turned completely grey.
Yo, 44? And his hair is grey? Madness, fam. That's absolute madness.
The rumours of morphine addiction were probably malicious gossip, but the supreme ruler had become erratic and agitated. That August, Kolchak threw himself into planning a counter-offensive to support General Denikin's thrust on Moscow. Great hopes rested on its outcome. The attack began on the 1st of September. Initial indications were excellent. Kolchak's forces smashed through the Third Red Army, taking thousands of prisoners, advancing more than 100 miles, and driving the Reds back across the Tobol. But the great encirclements Kolchak had planned, that were to annihilate Red forces on the Eastern Front, failed to materialize due to a lack of cavalry.
Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, fam. I'm looking at this, right? And I'm like, yo, you're pushing them back, but you're not encircling, you're not destroying them. So they're just gonna recover. Like, great, cool. We got the line, but are you destroying them? No, you're not destroying them.
At the Tobol River, the Reds were able to dig in and re-establish a defensive line. Kolchak's troops, exhausted by their advance and weakened by their own losses, could go no further.
While you were watching videos on YouTube, today so far I've already made $10,700, and yesterday I made about
October 1919. Along the Civil War's Eastern Front, the ground shook with explosions as the Red Army launched yet another major offensive. The Whites fought stubbornly, but when the Reds captured bridgeheads across the Tobol, the decision was made to begin a strategic withdrawal. General Denikin's advance on Moscow also came under fierce counterattack. Everywhere, the Reds were advancing. Omsk.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not looking good, Chief. This is just not looking good, bro.
Kolchak's capital was under threat. Kolchak wanted it held to the last man. If we lose Omsk, we lose all, he declared. But the speed of the Reds' advance left no time to organize a proper defense. The city was hurriedly evacuated on the 10th of November. Russia's gold reserves were loaded onto a Red Cross train and moved to safety, Kolchak having dismissed French General Jeannin's invitation to place them under international protection.
Air quotes, international protection.
I do not believe you, Kolchak told him. I would rather leave the gold with the Bolsheviks than give it to the Allies. His words.
Holy crap. Dude, these people had such discontent with each other. No wonder why they lost. They couldn't even trust each other, man.
Revealed how far trust had broken down between himself and General Jeannin. Kolchak hoped to establish a new defensive line along the Ob River, 370 miles east of Omsk. But by December, this line too was crumbling. A breakdown in relations with the Czechoslovak Legion was the final straw. These Czech troops controlled the Trans-Siberian Railway, the vital artery for the movement of troops and supplies. The Legion's officers now decided the evacuation of their own men would take priority over the movement of Kolchak's forces and supplies.
Ah, hell, bro. They saw the writing on the wall and they're like, okay, we're checking out. And at this point, World War I is over and Czechoslovakia was a country, so they didn't really need a point to stay there. It's even shocking that they even stood there for as long as they did, to be honest.
Kolchak himself was traveling east on the Supreme Ruler's train, accompanied by the gold reserves. His destination was Irkutsk, where he planned to establish his new headquarters. Around him, the country was in chaos. White forces were in full-scale retreat. The government's authority had collapsed, and a typhus epidemic was spreading fast. Large areas were controlled by Bolshevik partisans or bandits. Famine loomed. On the 25th of December, at Nizhny Udinsk, 280 miles short of Irkutsk, Kolchak's train was halted by Czech troops acting on General Jeannin's orders. He was held for 2 weeks with limited communications as chaos.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. Yep. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? And you're not communicating with your troops? Oh no. Oh no.
Chaos engulfed Siberia. While he waited, Bolsheviks and socialist revolutionaries launched a revolt in Irkutsk and took control of the city.
Oh my. Oh my gosh. Big yikes. Big yikes, dude. Oh, imagine if he would have gotten there. I mean, still, I think that he would have probably lost anyways, but still, oh, big yikes.
Now, even Kolchak's escape route was closed.
All thanks to the snobbiness of the Allies. Ugh, disgusting, man. It's so disgusting how snobby they were back then. I know British people aren't that snobby anymore. Oh, but French people still retain some of that snobbiness.
Kolchak was now completely isolated. Military disaster had swept away his forces. The Allies had lost patience with his failure to compromise. His authority had been destroyed. On the 4th of January 1920, at the insistence of his own Council of Ministers, Kolchak issued his last decree as supreme ruler, promising to resign in favor of General Denikin.
If you want to become a professional welder, you need to learn from the pros at Tulsa Welding School.
With enemies on all sides, Kolchak planned to escape south into Mongolia, with the 60 officers and 500 men still under his command. He announced that no man would be compelled to join this enterprise. He would accept only volunteers. At dawn the next day, of his 500 soldiers, only 10 remained.
Wow. 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 Yo, salute to those 10 people, bro. Real people. Real people. We need more people like that. We need more real people. Fact, not an opinion. Yo, I'm seeing all these people saying, oh, everyone is so fake. Everyone is so fake. And when they see someone who's a real person, they're like, oh, we need more people like that. No, be like that. I'm a real person. Hands down, I'm a real person. Ask anyone who's a friend of mine. They'll tell you, I'm a real person, bro. Most people, fake, fam. Fake as heck, man. 500 people, and only 10 remain. Yo, I hope, because all these people are dead, I hope those 10 people got a spot in heaven just for that.
Kolchak saw the game was up, and on the advice of his officers, placed himself under the protection of the Czechoslovak Legion.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, betrayal? Oh no.
On the 10th of January 1920, Kolchak's train finally left for Irkutsk under Czech protection. These allies will sell me, Kolchak predicted to one of his generals. Sure enough, on arrival in Irkutsk 5 days later, Kolchak was handed over to the city's new Socialist Revolutionary Council. The Czechs claimed they had no choice. It was
No. What? Oh man, that's sad, bro.
the only way to ensure their own safety as they escaped the country. But some Russian historians later claimed it was to cover up their own theft of Russia's gold reserves, which had been traveling with Kolchak. This is almost certainly a myth, though legends about Kolchak's missing gold endure to this day. The interrogation of Admiral Kolchak began on the 21st of January, 1920. He answered questions willingly, avoided implicating his subordinates, and took full responsibility for the actions of his government. But the Bolsheviks had now taken control of Irkutsk, and he knew his prospects were not good.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be sad, isn't it? This is gonna be sad, bro. Oh no, this is gonna have a sad ending, huh?
He, after all, had instructed his own officers to shoot communist prisoners. The civil war must be merciless. Either we shoot them, or they shoot us. But then, suddenly, the hope of rescue. Several thousand troops loyal to the Admiral began a desperate advance on Irkutsk, aiming to free Kolchak and other white officers held there. They battled.
Oh, please, please. Oh my gosh, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Bro, that's what I'm talking about. Yo. Shoot, bro. Nah, bro, this is making me tear up, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is, yo. I'm getting a little bit too emotional, bro. Like, my eyes feeling a little bit watery, bro.
Their way to within 5 miles of the city. But they were massively outnumbered and outgunned. It was a gallant but doomed rescue attempt.
Oh my.
And Kolchak's fate was now sealed.
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh. Yo. Oh, yo. I gotta take a... Oh my gosh, bro. I had to take a little pause there. Yo, I want to tear up on camera, bro. Yeah, I might be saying, oh, I'm overreacting. Nah, bro, I'm not overreacting, bro. This is actually, like, pretty sad.
In the early hours of the 7th of February, on the orders of the Bolshevik Military Revolutionary Committee of Irkutsk, Admiral Kolchak and the last Prime Minister of his government, Viktor Pepelev, were taken from their cells and led to the bank of the Angara River. An order was given. Platoon, against the enemies of the revolution, fire! The 2 bodies were pushed through holes in the ice and never seen again.
Sally, your shipment has been delayed. Click the link to track.
Oh my gosh, bro. Yo. I don't even know what to say, yo. That's just such a disrespectful way to go, bro.
With the execution of Admiral Kolchak, the Whites' last pretense of unified national leadership was over. 1920 saw their defeat on all fronts. Western allies evacuated their few remaining troops from Russia. And though fighting continued in corners of the new Soviet Empire for 3 more years, the ultimate victory of Lenin and the Bolsheviks was no longer in doubt. It came at an appalling cost. The Russian Civil War was one of the deadliest conflicts in history, with an estimated 750,000 military deaths, 75,000 executions, 5 million civilian deaths from famine, and 3 million deaths from a typhus epidemic.
Holy Jesus, have mercy on all those souls, bro. Honestly, because they're all dead. You know, they're all dead. They're not even here. Oh man, I hope God have mercy on those people, bro. That's actually tragedy.
The career of Admiral Kolchak, Russia's only supreme ruler, and for more than a year the world's great hope for defeating Bolshevism, had ended in total failure. He had faced extraordinary challenges and shown himself a leader committed to duty, discipline, and his own imperial vision of his Russian motherland. He was a skilled naval commander and charismatic figurehead, but was also rigid and inflexible.
Kolchak, you should have just let the Finns go. You should have just let the Finns go. Come on.
Unable to compromise or forge the alliances he needed to succeed. Under the Soviet regime, Admiral Kolchak's name was disgraced. An enemy of the people, a would-be tyrant in the mold of the Tsars, a traitor with no known grave. Today, a cross stands at the presumed site of his execution, and a memorial stands in Irkutsk. For some Russians, Kolchak remains a romantic, tragic figure who battled for an old empire and stood by his sense of duty to the bitter end. Admiral Kolchak was and remains a deeply controversial figure in Russian history.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Yo, bro, check out these videos right here if you want to react to it, bro. Well, if you want to watch me react to it, man. Yo, if you like the reaction, bro, like the video, if you like my reactions, check out my other stuff. If you like them, subscribe for more Epic History TV reactions. Yo, thank you for watching the video.